Now, stay tuned for Super Trax, the ultimate battleground for America's top mounted monster champions.
Hi, I'm Kris at Anaheim Stadium in Southern California. Coming up, 9 of America's wildest monsters battle it out for the first time ever on an extremely dangerous Z-shaped obstacle course.
Welcome, everybody, to the Centrum in Worcester, Massachusetts. I'm Bret Kepner, and this is the toughest machine in super modified mud racing today. Coming up, 3-time world champion Tom Martin and the Super Trooper takes on the toughest in the business in the ultimate mud racing shootout. 24 of the nation's super modified superstars will do battle in one of the toughest mud racing pits ever designed. And we'll get a chance to see world-renowned motorcycle jumping artist Earnie Adams attempt to clear the equivalent of 20 cars. Welcome to Super Trax.
The United States Hot Rod Association presents the ultimate from the wide world of motorsports, Super Trax.
Welcome, everybody, to Anaheim Stadium in Anaheim, California, as we get ready for qualifying in an 8-truck field on the U.S. Hot Rod Association National Championship Tour with some of the biggest names in the business on a bizarre Z-shaped course. Dennis Anderson's Gravedigger from North Carolina starts things off with a huge launch and a sideways landing as he battles the clock to start qualifying. A hard right turn and a hard left-hand turn with 3 straights intertwined. Anderson heads for the home stretch and clears the finish line 5 feet in the air. The elapsed time for the incredible Gravedigger, 20.17 seconds, and that will set the pace for the remainder of the trucks attempting to qualify. Robert Parker and the AM/PM Boss Chevrolet leaves the starting line. One of the California-based trucks of the Super Truck team of Seth Dalton makes it into the first right-hand turn. And problems, he's broken the rear end. Parker amazingly keeps that truck from flipping over. Looking at the replay, he comes down nicely from this jump. Now keep your eye on the back end as he makes the turn. Watch the lower tie rod snap off. The left rear wheel goes berserk, and amazingly, Parker is capable of keeping this thing on all fours. That could have been disastrous, and driving it back to the pits is going to be treacherous. On the starting line, a newcomer to the U.S. Hot Rod Association Tour, and Kris Chapman talked with him earlier.
Well, about 30 hours and 3 time zones is what it took Scott Stevens in the King Krunch Special to get from Woodlands, Texas to Anaheim Stadium to compete in a monster truck race. But Scott, things didn't go so great last time.
I don't know, the trucks are definitely getting a little bit more difficult to keep up on, but the little simple things kicked our tail last night. You know, a little dollar piece of transmission, a ring that holds the clutches in just came apart. And, you know, the technology is definitely getting the trucks. They're getting more advanced, you know, every year. You know, the little things sometimes are the hardest things to conquer.
All right, now Stevens has to be concerned about conquering this Anaheim, California course. It has already proven to be a rough one. Beautiful launch off the first set of cars. A rough landing. Using the independent front and rear steering to straighten it out and going to that first hard right-hand turn. Stevens looks disoriented. In fact, he may even be having mechanical problems here. And definitely there is something wrong in the drivetrain. That landing must have been a little bit too rough. And Stevens knows it. At this point, his only option is to idle around the course and hope that whatever elapsed time comes up keeps him qualified in this field. He'll take the final turn at the unlikely speed of about 10 miles per hour and just inch his way towards the finish line. But at this point, he knows he has a lot of work to do in the pit area if he expects to come back for the first round of eliminations. Therefore, taking it easy is probably the safest bet. As he crawls across the finish line, the elapsed time comes up. Ironically, 69 seconds flat. So right now, the only full qualifying run was put down by Dennis Anderson in the Gravedigger at 20.17 seconds. Right now, it's time for another crunch of the week. It was one event ago here at Anaheim Stadium that Bigfoot and Eliminator got into one of the roughest finishes in monster truck history. This incredible collision brought up doubts as to the validity of the win awarded to Bigfoot. Was there a driver at fault? Was there rough driving? The controversy continues to this day. That's this week's Crunch of the Week. Super Trax will be right back with more extreme motorsports action. Don't go away. We're back at Anaheim Stadium in Anaheim, California, as qualifying continues for this 8-truck Open U.S. Hot Association Monster Truck Field, and things are already wild. Dennis Anderson leads the pack at 20.17 seconds. Here's Gary Schott and the Valvoline-sponsored Monster Chevrolet. Schott taking things relatively conservatively, but keep in mind that this truck weighs in on a 6,000 pounds more than most of the lightweight racing entries entered in this field. Now, pedal down the second straightaway as he heads into the last turn. A hard left, but something goes wrong in the drivetrain. You can see Schott looking down, trying to see if the machine fell out of gear. He gets her going again and crosses the finish line with an elapsed time of 31.11 seconds. Believe it or not, that'll be good for number 2 right now. But here comes the killer, Jim Kramer, and the incredible Bigfoot Ford, leaving the line as only he can. Stumbling just a tad, boy, every driver is having problems negotiating these incredibly tight turns. Kramer trying to better 20.17 seconds. Straightens her out, heads for the finish line. Kramer lands the elapsed time, 18.11 seconds. Number 1 for the Big Blue Ford. Bobby Z in the Skull Crusher Ford, ready to leave. Another driver who obviously feels that conservatism may be the best bet here in qualifying, saving the equipment for what will obviously be a tough elimination round. He, too, stumbles slightly in the first turn. Now taking a ride around the last banner. He straightens it out and heads for the finish line clocks. Actually, an excellent run for Bobby Z. 25.03 seconds. That'll put him number 3 in the field. But on the starting line, one of the California hometown favorites, Los Angeles' own Jim Reis in the Ecology Wrecking Yard Eliminator Chevy. And this is a full power pass, no question about it. Reis takes the turn beautifully, not a bobble anywhere. Pedal hard down, heading for the last turn. He takes it extremely tight, nails it, trying to beat the 18-second mark of Bigfoot. The Eliminator, 21.11 seconds. That'll take third behind Bigfoot and Gravedigger. Obviously a treacherous qualifying round. Eliminations should be even wilder. The action is far from over as we still have plenty more monster truck competition from Anaheim, California. Super modified mud racers to go and stuntman Ernie Adams. Stay with us.